For this video, we'll be replacing the rear suspension shock absorber. And for this repair, we're going to need a number of tools. First, a pressing wrench, a 6mm Allen wrench. We're going to need two of those. 2.5mm Allen wrench, 5mm Allen wrench, and a rubber hammer. First, start by loosening the motor axle just enough so that we can loosen the tension on this swing arm here. What we're going to do is we're going to just remove the left side of the rear swing arm to replace the shock absorber on the rear. Next thing is to remove the rear fender screws only on the right side. We're just going to remove the two screws on the right side of the rear fender. And just like that. Yeah, you don't have to remove it all the way. Yeah, but just enough so that the unit itself is detached. After that's done, we're going to loosen, actually remove the axle screw that's holding the top side of the shock absorber. And when it's just about halfway out, we're going to give it a quick knock, and that's going to allow the actual shock absorber pin on the other side to come out. And to pull this out, go ahead and simply lift up the wheel slightly, and the pin will come out very gently. Go ahead and let that loose there. Next thing is to remove the actual motor axle as well as the motor. Go ahead and remove the motor axle. Next thing is to use two of the 6mm tool to remove the swing arm axle. Might take a little bit of force here. This is meant to be very tight. Yeah, so go ahead and unscrew that. And there's no need to worry about this whole assembly dropping abruptly because there's a pin that's holding it. There's a screw that comes out here. Yeah. And what needs to be done is to apply a little bit of pressure to remove this pin. And to do that, we're going to have to apply just a little bit of pressure here. And if that's not successful, go ahead and use a screw to back this out. And the trick is to back it out just enough where you can follow with another tool to make sure that the axle is held in place, because without this it will just come out all the way, and that's not what we want. Okay, just out this way, like so. When it's about halfway out, give it a quick twist, and that should allow the motor to hang like this. And in theory, this should free the rear motor assembly to pop out. And if it's not popping out, give it a quick, gentle knock on the rear swing arm, and that will allow the left or the right side of the swing arm to be removed. In this state, it's important to keep a tool to prevent the rear motor from just dropping. And at this point, you can simply remove the suspension. Go ahead and grab your replacement suspension and reverse the process by inserting the rear suspension onto the lower post and just let that hang there, and use the axle. Actually, go ahead and install the rear swing arm, and this will just gently go in, and make sure the axle and the shock absorber pin, as well as a position on the axle pin where it will enter, are all aligned. And when inserting the axle pin, use a rubber hammer to gently push that in, and this shouldn't take a lot of force. Just like that. Okay, that's in. Like this. Okay, once that's in, go ahead and lock the axle pin with the screw. Now again, grab your 6mm tools on both sides and start by screwing in the shorter side of the bolt. It's okay to let the motor hang now because it's held by this axle pin. Okay. It's important to make sure that this axle screw is very tight. And in some cases you might want to drop a blue Loctite on the screw. But in our case, we have freshly put a Loctite on this thing, so that was not necessary, but it is generally a good idea to do that. Next step is to install the motor axle bolt. Okay. Make sure that is very tight. And go ahead and pivot your suspension upwards, and make sure the top of the suspension is aligned with the mounting hole, and simply insert your upper suspension locking pin and go ahead and mount the screw to fasten the axle pin. And this screw doesn't require a lot of force, but enough force to make sure that they don't back out. And same rule applies if this screw, when removed, do not have any Loctite on it. It's a good idea to drop a couple drops of Loctite before locking this in. Make sure you use a blue Loctite, not the permanent red color. And lastly, grab your 2.5mm wrench and secure the rear fender screws that we have removed only on the right side. Just like that. Alright, and that concludes the rear shock absorber replacement.